What's up, guys? Welcome back to Too Much in Common. I'm your host, Lauren.
And I'm the other host, Ryan.
There we go. And what we have in common is that we're both going to compete in 2025 in different federations and bodybuilding shows. So
Bodybuilding shows.
Yeah, we're...
Tan, oiled, glossed, lean.
It'll be Ryan's first time competing in 2025, and then it will be my third time competing in 2025. Yes. Hopefully more than just one show, but yeah. So
be on the lookout.
I guess it would be my fourth time competing because I'm going to compete 3 times this year, and then in 2025 it'll be my fourth time.
That is.
Anyways, speaking of bodybuilding shows, this episode is going to be about the bodybuilding show that just happened last Saturday, which is yesterday, I guess, for us, because we're recording on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was the NPC Tokyo Joe's Rocky Mountain Championships. That is a mouthful. Yeah. But yeah, and it's a national qualifier. So
big show, last show of the year in Colorado.
Yeah, last show of the year in Colorado. We're just going to go over all the things about the show, the lead up into the show. How the show was run, like the athlete meeting, what we saw, what we didn't see, what we liked, what we didn't like, stuff like that. I'm going to go over my placing, what it's going to be like going into nationals for me and stuff like that. So we're excited to talk about it. Yeah, there was a snowstorm that happened.
It was crazy.
And Ryan was a really, really good show daddy. So.
She doesn't, yeah. If y'all out there, you don't know about daddy duty.
Show day dad for me.
My daddy duties were on point.
Ryan chose to do a workout right before we had to leave.
Working out is important, okay? That's half of what this podcast is about, is working out, even if it's not always the advisable choice.
Yeah. So... Anyways,
it created stress for her, but it relieved stress for me. You got to pick your battles.
All right, so it all started Friday.
Actually, let's just really quickly, for people who don't know, this show actually started with Lauren breaking her collarbone to the point where she needed surgery. In a way.
Yeah, so I prepped for 16 weeks for this show, and right before this show, I did break my collarbone. We were mountain biking.
Severely displaced. Non-open fracture.
Yeah. So I had surgery
July 9th or something, July
8th, and then I started prep July 15th. So that's where we started prep. Yeah, I guess that's where we were coming from. So rough start to prep.
And for the
100%.
So obviously we are on, if you're listening to our voices, this is obvious to you that we are on Apple Podcasts and all the other podcast platforms, but we're also on YouTube. So if you want to watch, you can find us there, but sometimes there's exclusive content like the picture that's dropping right now of Lauren's actual broken collarbone, x-rays and all.
Yeah.
It's gnarly. So we're not just like, oh, she broke her collarbone. No, she broke her collarbone.
Prep, for sure. But I feel like prep helped it so much with recovery.
You recovered quick.
I couldn't lift upper body for 6 weeks. So I listened to that kind of, mostly. Ish. The best I could. I know my body the best. So that's how this prep started. And then, throughout the prep, a lot of work trips, which is pretty hard. I think that was one of like the biggest struggles, was like keeping everything together on my work trips.
I guess I do also want, like, I'm not trying to make excuses for Lauren. I just think that's an interesting story. I think that people need to know that it is a realistic part of it.
It feels so long ago that it doesn't feel like it's a part of it, but yeah.
I didn't want to try to make excuses for you, but I'm just saying the people need to know.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom. Sure. Now we're here. See, in the song, he doesn't say start from the bottom, not at the top, right? He just says, now we're here. Nondescript.
And now we're here.
Now we're
the
here.
Day after. So, right. So that's where we started. I switched coaches like 3 weeks out from this prep, which was a personal decision, I think a necessary one. So that was difficult as well, just like mentally and
logistically.
Yes, I would say that as well. So that's kind of like a very, very brief overview of my prep. I definitely started pushing hard in October once I was like done with my last work trip. And then we finally got to the show, and the show is what we're going to talk a majority about. So Friday. Started Friday. I took Thursday and Friday off of work.
Yep.
And I went and got my tan on Friday. So you get your tan the day before the show, and then you get a tan the morning of the show.
Like a re-tan.
Yeah. You get the first coat while you're sleeping kind of allows it to set in. And then the second one is like the darker color that you're kind of go on stage with. And then right before you go on stage, you get a gloss. You get like kind of tanned again, and then you get like an oil gloss on you. So
makes your muscles shiny and
all nice and shiny and poppy. Pop. But yeah, so Friday was the tan. My appointment was at 6:40. It took about an hour. You tan completely naked, and everyone is naked, and you're just very used to it.
Except for guys.
Guys, we inquired because Ryan was like, the guys don't get completely naked. And
Seems
I was
weird
like, I think they do. So we asked a guy in the elevator if they get completely naked. And he was like, we put a sock over our junk.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay.
It's nice.
That answers that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
Which, if just now that I'm thinking about this, is a very funny post-show look. Tan. Not tan.
That is true. What if you put like a funny sock? Like, what if you like, you know what I mean?
It's like ears or something.
You could bring an elephant.
Yeah, they would, with the trunk. And it could go up. Yeah.
So
it could make
fun
the tan.
fact.
The tanning people would have fun. They're like, well, look at this guy. It's funny.
Yeah. Sometimes the tanning people need to lighten up a little bit. But
They
I
do.
understand.
But hey, they're staring at junk and trunks all day.
Yeah.
Spraying up in the carriage.
They do. They get up in there.
I mean,
and then
ABG.
They tell you like bend over, and you bend over and you get your tan, and they're like spread them, and then you spread your legs and you get your tan. So, you don't want any weird white spots. But so that was Friday, and then we went to bed shortly after. I was freezing.
Yes, here we go.
After my tan, I was so cold because you sit there, you get tanned. In the little booth, and then you're in front of these fans, and straight up girls are like shaking because it is so cold.
Yeah,
you're just getting blasted.
We didn't
with air.
mention that the Friday and Thursday of this weekend was the first big snowstorm in Colorado. So it was very cold. It was very snowy.
Oh gosh,
So,
yeah. The snowstorm started on Thursday.
Yeah, like a decent
and
amount.
it went until Saturday.
Yeah. So
yeah.
it dumped.
There was so much snow.
But regardless, this is not the first time I've talked about this, but we need to reiterate. I went down. I got some dinner. Lauren was tanning. She came back up. She was cold. So what did she do?
I put the room to 85.
85 in a hotel.
Wonderful.
Makes me want to walk away from this podcast right now with how much stress that causes me.
Oh God,
so hot.
I know, and you have to be careful with that with the tan, because if you go turn your room up really, really hot and then you start sweating,
get the drips.
Yeah, and then it creases. It doesn't look good. So you actually do want to kind of stay like cool and dry so the tan can dry.
Well, we didn't stay
But
cool.
I found a fantastic hack.
It was really smart.
You go into the bathroom, take the blow dryer and blow dry yourself with hot air, close the door, just hot box the bathroom, and it's great. And I did that for probably like an hour. It was wonderful. And I warmed up, and like my tan was drying, and it was just so, so nice.
So that's one trick and tip. Because I think that's what this episode's going to be, a lot of like little tricks, little tips, kind of thing. Because we already did a whole other episode of like what to actually expect for a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, that's true.
For a spectator and for a competitor. So this one, I think, since now Lauren's done 3 and she's done 2, she's going to do 3. And I've been to a lot of them with her. That's an awesome trick, right?
Yes.
And then another one that we realized, because normally these shows, at least most of them we've gone to, have been at like a hotel.
Yeah.
So if you're a competitor, it's very convenient. if you're not very close to the place, to stay at the hotel. But most hotels, I think every single hotel I've ever stayed at has white sheets.
Yeah.
If you
I thought you were going to say a microwave. We'll talk about that next.
Oh, true. Yeah, so if you have tan and then you sleep in the bed,
they'll charge
if you don't think about it, because that's like a thing that you might not think about. If it's
Yeah.
like your first bodybuilding show, you get your tan, you're like, oh, nice. It's going to dry. It'll dry, but it'll still rub off. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they'll charge you for damages. So what Lauren did is she brought one of our old gray sheets and then like tacoed herself in it, which is what she did the first show too. But then she ended up putting her hands like on her stomach.
I slept. Yeah. So I tacoed myself into the sheet that I brought.
Yes.
And then I slept on, like I woke up with just a massive handprint on my stomach. And I was like, oh no. So I walked to the tanning people in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. They're going to be angry. But they fixed it. I mean, they're pretty good about that stuff, about fixing it. It wasn't a big deal. But yeah, so this time what I did is I brought the sheet and I tacoed myself, but then I also brought a blanket.
Who tacoed you?
Oh, Ryan tucked me in.
Daddy duty.
Let's
be honest here.
Ryan did tuck me into my little taco sheet and then put a blanket on top of me. So like my hands were above the blanket. Yeah, the sheet. And then they were under the blanket. So I was still warm. And then I wasn't touching the white sheets because there was the white comforter there. So that's one trick. Get a sheet and then also get a blanket. So put your hands over the sheet when you're in the little taco burrito.
Over the sheet.
Yeah.
Bring your own pillow.
Yes, bring your own pillow and do not bring a white pillowcase.
Yeah, you
will get tan on it. And another thing that I want to go over with tanning is bring your own hairnet to go get tanned. Because if you don't, they provide them, but they are tiny and they fly right off of you. They do. When they're spraying you, it just rolls up. And I have a bunch of hair. This is for like my long hair girlies. If you have a lot of hair, bring your own hairnet.
Girlies?
Yes. And you can order them on Amazon for, I think, like $10 or something. Bring your own because it'll stay on your head. And then you don't look like such an amateur going into tanning and then your hair is also tanned. Because it sucks when you're curling your hair and you can sizzle off the tan. You like hear it sizzle or like the tan gets on your curler and you're like, ugh. So anyway, those are my little tips and tricks for tanning.
Yes.
When
tanning,
it comes
like
to that.
the night before and then the next morning.
And actually one more thing, when it comes to tanning, they'll also charge you for towels if you ruin towels.
Yeah.
So bring your own washcloths, like your face washcloths, and your own hand towels to like dry your hands with, because you will get a bunch of tan all over the white towels.
Yeah.
And I don't know one hotel that has black towels.
No, it's always white.
I brought my dark gray ones.
Yeah, smart.
Always white. Everything's white, which I guess, I mean, if you know.
It's nice. It's like luxurious.
Yeah.
No matter what hotel
it
you
shows
could be,
that it's clean,
staying
right?
At a freaking
If it's
A-loft,
white.
and it's still white.
But
so
anyways, so those are a couple things about the tan on Friday. How was your Friday, Ryan?
My Friday?
Do you have anything to add for the people, for the spectators?
For tips and tricks?
Tips and tricks to be a supportive partner.
Oh, yeah, you have to suck it up. And if the room's 81, you just got to.
I told Ryan, I was like, strip down.
Yeah.
Strip down because I'm freezing. Mm-hmm. So
Ryan
got in the shower. He took a hot, long shower.
Yeah, that was nice, yeah.
Yes. And another thing, Ryan was like so good about going and getting things from the car. And I was like, I can't carry that. It'll crease my tan. I can't do this. It'll crease my tan. And Ryan. You
just got to be ready to support.
He was so there to support. So.
Build me up.
I'm super, super thankful for that.
It's fun. Honestly, like, I was talking about this with Lauren because we will get into how long the days potentially could be of competing. Gosh. And I was telling her, because, like, obviously, anyone who knows me and knows us, we both care deeply about fitness. I've always generally thought like bodybuilding is really cool. I've never done it myself. Obviously, meeting Lauren, she was into it right away. So that helps, is like I am genuinely interested in it and like seeing it and like the whole vibe, right? And the people there, it's like cool. And
Ryan knows the criteria now, which I think is also helpful.
Yeah, it just
so
makes it more fun.
You kind of know what you're looking at.
It's like when people watch like American football, and then they don't know why like flags are like, well, why was that? You know, once you learn, like, and then you can get mad at the refs. You're like, that was a penalty.
I don't know football.
Yeah. See, it makes it more fun when you understand.
There's 4 quarters. I've been to a football game and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
What are the rules here?
Exactly. Which is, I think, a lot of people at bodybuilding shows.
Yes.
Because it's confusing. So once
Yes.
you start understanding, it just makes it more fun. Just like anything. When you learn more about something, it's like you can be more involved and it's more of an active process. But you got to be ready to support. And so this is where I was telling Lauren, I was like, it'd be an interesting vibe because we were there a long time on Saturday.
God,
it was basically, I mean, Lauren woke up before me, but I was pretty much ready to rip around 6 a.m. And we were done at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
long day.
And if I was just telling her, I was like, if there's like a, guy or girl, whoever it is, and their partner's competing and they're not like super into it, that'd be kind of rough.
Super rough.
And then I saw that situation. It was very awkward. I saw a girl competing.
There was a lot of those situations that we didn't even see.
And her husband was like just not really having it because it was late in the day.
Yeah.
And then she hit him with I watched it. She was walking away. She's like, "What?
So sad.
I love you." Like kind of like one of those, like a longing, like a beckoning, like they've been having a rough time. And he just walked. I don't think he heard, in his defense, but I could see her sadness, and I was like, "Damn." So anyway, it's gonna help if you are a primary supporter, day daddy,
show day
daddy, that you're gonna hopefully be interested in it. And I think it's fun. So
I also think it goes for like the athlete too. Like if you're competing, try and first pack food for your show day mom or dad.
Yes.
I could have done that better. I did pack some food for Ryan,
but
not enough. So I feel like that's the least that you can do is
keep them fed.
Keep them fed. Yeah.
A fed daddy is a happy daddy.
You're bringing your food, so you might as well bring food for your partner, so they can have snacks while you hurry up and wait.
This is just
all day long.
A specific travel trick and tip, but will be very specific for a bodybuilding show because if you are competing, you're gonna have very specific food that you're eating, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be eating like I did the chicken at the hotel, which was good, but you need to bring your own food. So then normally your food is not all like prepared. And even if it is, it has to go into a fridge.
Yeah.
A lot of hotels, so this is just a general trick and tip, their fridges will not be on.
Oh,
and it's really hard to know sometimes.
You
put their stuff in there and you don't know if it's on because sometimes it's on the like inside the door. There's like a little switch, or this one, it was like in the back under the shelf. You have to turn it on.
Ryan put my food in the fridge and then didn't turn it on.
I didn't know. And I travel like a decent amount for work. So this is like me telling you guys.
So -1 for show day daddy. -2 for show day daddy.
Excuse me, that's -2?
Yeah. The workout right before we were about to leave.
It was a great workout though.
The fridge.
Great workout. Yeah, that's -2. All right, but wait till my pluses. They're coming.
Yeah, they are coming.
But yeah, that's a good, I think, just general travel tip.
+1 for carrying everything. +1 for driving. So now we're net even.
There it is.
Yeah, I did not drive. I did not drive there. So yeah. Oh, okay. Another thing I feel like there's so many things of how to make your tan better. With your tan. So you can get a pee cup. So when you pee.
Oh, here we go.
It splashes a lot and it gets on your skin.
Women, we're talking about women here.
Yes, it gets on your skin. Well, no, even for men, like if you get a little droplet of water on you, it will show, there'll be white specks.
So cover them
on
feet.
your tan. Yes. So anyways, ladies out there, if you're peeing, you got to pee with your tan. This is what you're going to do is you're going to take toilet paper and you are going to mummy wrap it around your thighs. And then you're going to take that toilet paper and you're also going to put it on the toilet seat so you don't get a ring on your butt. Okay?
And you don't
so
sit in the toilet seat.
So you have mummy wrapped thighs. No, you can sit on the toilet seat with the paper on there.
Yeah, with the paper on there, yeah.
Yes, and then another thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a really obnoxious amount of toilet paper and you're going to put it in the toilet before you pee. So you're peeing on paper.
And this is why we recycle.
Is key.
See, so we're making it's net even
this
here.
This isn't
okay?
great for the environment, but you're being a little wasteful. But you spent this much time
and
money. You might as well do everything that you can to make your tan look nice. So mummy wrapped thighs. There's toilet paper on the seat. There's toilet paper in the actual toilet. So you're peeing on the paper so it doesn't splash. So you have triple insured yourself. If you don't want to use a pee cup, because I don't think pee cups really work that well, you have triple insured yourself that you will not splash pee on your tan. So that is my new trick that I found out for this show. And I'm like, I'm a genius. I thought that
It worked.
all by myself. And I was
Brainwaves
like,
were happening with Lauren
yes,
that night.
yeah. Not a
It's
lot
probably 'cause
other
it was
things were
so
happening.
hot. Your brain works better.
It was cooking. I was cooking
you were
in there.
cooking.
Yeah, let
Literally.
her cook.
Let her cook.
So that is another tip that I highly recommend. So in the blow dryer one, I told the girls when we went in the morning to go do that, and like the girls that I was drying with, my little rotisserie chicken self, and they're like, "Oh, that's such a good idea. I was so cold. I was so cold. I was so cold." So yeah, there's that.
There's a lot of tan tricks and tips.
Yes.
Because the tan is important. It will distinguish you up on stage if you have like some spotty tan. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we should. This is a good little segue, kind of. There's another trick and tip. So there's a snowstorm, right?
Yeah.
A lot of roads were closed. People come from out of state sometimes to these bodybuilding shows. One girl showed up literally 30 minutes before she was supposed to go on.
Yeah.
And like came up to the guy.
Showed
She's
up
like, "Hey,
late."
so," and he was very confused. They're cool. He was like, "All right, well, like, what's your name?"
They were very, very nice.
Like,
to
let's
her.
see let's see where you're at. Like, okay. She was able to come on. She obviously couldn't get a tan. She didn't even do her makeup. And so this would just be for prejudging specifically, which we went over in our other video of the whole format. They still liked her. And then because of her, they actually, which they normally don't do, in finals wanted to rejudge that class.
Yeah, they rejudged the
And
class.
she got a tan by then and got makeup, and she won her class, which is pretty cool. So it just shows like even if
persevere, don't
Yeah.
give up.
because she was so stressed, like
Oh
you could
my
feel
God,
it, you
I
could
felt
see
stressed
it.
for her.
So that's a cool story. It's like, yes, the tan is important, but obviously it's not like they're gonna judge you
It's not
unfairly.
the end all be all.
She still won.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's just a little thing is like sometimes things happen and you're gonna be super late. But if you already signed up for the show, you might as well show up and try.
That's true.
Like she was, lean,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see some more tricks and tips.
Well, okay, so then Saturday morning, the snowstorm was so bad, so they pushed the show back an hour.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of girls had their makeup and hair. I mean, makeup starts at 4 a.m. If the show starts at 9:30 or 8:30, then you're scheduled. There's some girls that are scheduled at 4 a.m. for your makeup, which is kind of awful.
It's a long,
Because if say you're bikini open class D, you are not going on. You are the last class to go on. D, E, F. You are
tall girls.
You are there for a very long time. So I was like, dang, if you're not doing your own makeup, you're getting your makeup done at 4 a.m. and you're not going to go on for another 6 hours, and that makeup's going to sit on your face for 6 hours. I'm sorry, but most makeup does not look good after 6 hours. I'm just going to say that. Fresh makeup almost always looks better. So I highly recommend doing your own makeup. I did my own makeup way, way happier than the first show that I did. I did not like the way that I looked for my first show. Nothing about it I liked, and I had to fix it. I had to go up to my room. I brought my own makeup, and I had to fix it. And I was like, that was such a waste of money. So just go to Sephora and like practice for a couple weeks before your show. I mean, you're putting this much time, effort, blah, blah, blah. Like you might as well like the way that you look, because I feel like nothing would suck more than like taking all this time and then hating the way that you look, like your face.
And not being able to fix it.
Yeah. And we've seen girls get their makeup done. We won't name names, but we've seen girls get their makeup done and it looks weird on stage.
You gotta have your face match the tan.
Yeah.
Ideal.
That was a rough one.
Yeah.
And it's like even my parents who don't really know bodybuilding, like they noticed it. They noticed it too. It wasn't just like,
We're like, cognizant. Everybody was cognizant. Unfortunately.
That was a weird look for sure. And it sucked because like I know this girl and I felt so bad because like I knew how hard she had worked. So like, you know, it definitely is. By no means is it us like making fun of her. It
No, it just
literally
sucked.
is unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how I
Just, like,
felt.
unlucky.
I'm like, I know how hard she worked, and so to not have your makeup match your efforts is just annoying to me.
Because part of this, obviously, with bodybuilding is, and with any sport, but specifically one where you're being judged by a human, it is always going to be subjective. They will try to be objective to the standards that they have, right?
Yeah.
But if you're up there and it doesn't matter how good you look and like is something so glaringly obvious.
Yeah, if something is taking away from your physique, like
it's
your
just
makeup,
hard. People are objective.
It's hard
Yeah,
not
like,
to want to judge on that.
Well, and I guess
bikini they do.
Yeah.
They judge on
They
makeup.
will judge.
Like they judge on suit, they judge on hair. If you're splitting hairs and you're like, I don't know who to pick.
Boom.
And one girl has better makeup than you, they're gonna pick her.
And also, I think even if you were trying to be like as unbiased as possible, and you're like, all right, yes, her makeup's weird, but like we're gonna try to focus on other things. We're just humans. You're gonna be unconsciously aware, and it's gonna be one of those things that in your mind you might not think that you're making decisions based on that, but I think it'll still matter. You know?
Yeah. No.
Because at the
I agree.
end, it's subjective. So.
It is. Yeah, bikini, especially bikini.
So do
very
all the
subjective.
things you can
Yes.
to the utmost certainty,
The utmost certainty.
and try to get that dialed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because makeup's expensive.
Makeup is expensive,
them to do
but
it.
you're gonna reuse it. Like, you could spend $150
Well, yeah, it's
to get your
expensive.
makeup done,
For you, yeah, there you go.
or you could spend $150 and then you could reuse this makeup. Like
And
the
do it
makeup that I
yourself.
bought, yeah, like I'm wearing it right now, and I'm gonna wear it again for my next show, and hopefully for other events or whatever I have. So yeah,
Big events coming up. See you guys
the
there.
holidays are coming.
It is.
So, anyways, all right. So, yeah, Saturday morning, woke up, checked in with my coach. Another thing is bring a ring light to the hotel because the hotel does not have good lighting. So that's important. I didn't have my ring light because it was in the car. So I never ended up using it.
You didn't? No, we had it
Yeah, I never used it. I only used it
at the end.
No, I never did.
Oh,
Yeah. I guess in hindsight, we should have got it that night instead of, because I was going to wake you up to like, oh, can you go get the light so I can do my check-in? But I felt bad. I was like, no, I'm going to let him sleep. And so anyways, that was side note.
Yeah.
But is that -1 point?
shouldn't be -1. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I woke up, checked in with my coach. We kind of went over what I was going to eat. And then the athlete meeting was at 9. And I went to the athlete meeting, said hello to some people. The judges were there. And then I left early from the athlete meeting, and Ryan stayed and recorded it for me. So I feel like the tip there is like, if you can't make it to the athlete meeting, have somebody else go for you to get, important information.
I think importantly, just this is important in general, is having people at a show like this. Like this isn't necessary. So if you're like a solo person, you just really want to do one, you can do it. And you could still do this though. You have to be very social. Is if you know somebody who is either working there, like that girl that you knew.
Oh, yeah.
Or just generally, like if you meet another competitor, you exchange numbers because then you guys can keep each other in the loop. So a perfect example would be like that is like, all right, for whatever reason you can't go to the athlete meeting, if you know somebody, they can tell you stuff.
Yeah, I had a friend volunteering, and so we were messaging. I was like, hey, what time do you think we're going to go on?
Right.
And she was kind of giving me updates. So that was really helpful.
It's never like, oh, you're going on at 11. They don't know because there's just so many factors.
Yeah.
It's annoying. But there's just too many factors that they can't control, of like how many people are there and how long people take to get organized and the judge. There's just so many things. So it's nice to have somebody who could be like, hey, like you'll probably be on in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about, so we did the athlete meeting. Then we can kind of like, all right, so you nailed your hair, you did your makeup, which saved you $300.
And makeup, that saved me $300.
Because
I also advocate for doing your own hair.
Yeah.
All they do is curl it.
Like you can
You can curl your own
Come
hair.
on, girl.
Watch
You
some
got
YouTube videos.
Ryan believes in you.
Yes.
Look at these lovely locks I have.
Wow, baby.
I know you can curl your hair out there.
Yeah.
I believe.
Do your own hair. It's easy.
Because,
Just
I mean,
do it.
yeah, the bodybuilding show in general, to buy your card, to buy the show, to buy the things, is expensive in general.
So expensive.
So if you want to spend like
expensive.
$700 to get on stage, which we'll talk about how long you can expect to get on stage, then that's up to you. But you could also minus that by $300 and do that. That's what I advocate for. I feel very strongly about this with how much makeup and hair that I do on myself. So I'm glad.
You wore some makeup for
that's
Halloween.
what Lauren and I also have in common. Hairs and makeups.
Yep.
Okay, so we nailed that. Now we should talk about another important thing, because I think the first show is a hit, and this second show I think was a hit as well, is the mirror.
Bring your mirror.
Yeah,
Bring
like a full-size, cheap.
Full-sized, like Walmart mirror to the show. I saw way more mirrors this time than I did last time.
Okay.
But maybe 6.
Okay.
Bring your own mirror.
Yeah.
Do it. Bring it.
It's very important.
Yeah. It's super helpful. It's like, what, a pound or two to take in there.
Do you look ridiculous walking through a hotel with all these kind of things? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you
Do
have
I
a
look
bunch
even
of
more
bags.
ridiculous doing that? Yeah, I do. With the pink backpack and the mirror. Yeah, all right. Not tan.
I also will say the Hydro Flask backpack, you can get it on Amazon. Super
like
helpful.
The cooler backpack.
Yeah, it's a cooler backpack. I would get that because like the only reason why some of my stuff stayed cool is because Ryan didn't put everything in the fridge. He only put some stuff in and then left the ice coolers in my backpack. So that stuff stayed cool. So I had like my eggs. Yeah. So like we had to throw some stuff away, but like I had my eggs in there. And like my fruit in there stayed cold. So highly recommend getting a Hydro Flask backpack. It was very, very helpful. Yes.
So then, yeah. Because like obviously a show, they're not going to give you any mirror. They don't have mirrors for you. And they don't have anything for you to pump
up stuff. So you have to bring your own bands. You have to bring your own weights. This show, I brought 5-pound weights. And I feel like next show I'll bring like 2 or 3 pound weights and 5-pound weights. I don't know. We're going to have to travel with that, but
yeah, that's fine.
We'll see. Yeah. So bring your own bands. And I recommend bringing, like the, long loop bands, right?
Without handles. Yeah. Like
Without
the circle
handles.
one that you can like double it over and make it strong, or not double it over and it's pretty light.
Yeah. And then the elastic smaller bands that you can put around your heels,
like the loop for glutes and legs and
yes
stuff.
You don't want to put that on your tan, but you can put it around your shoes or your heels, and then do some like glute kickbacks and have that resistance to help you pump up. So I think that is helpful as well.
And Lauren and I talked about this, and it makes sense, is that because getting pumped up for men and women is very important, because your muscles at this point are going to be so flat and so hard to get pumped up because you don't have enough carbs, you don't have enough calories, you probably don't have enough water. So we were talking about it, is it's just like anything that you're practicing your posing, you're practicing obviously what you look like. So you're in the gym, you should also practice your pump up routine and like see what movements actually pump your muscles up, because everybody's different.
Yeah, I wish that we did that differently.
But in general, so like you have to figure it out for yourself. But in general, I think that I could say this is true for most people. What you want to try to do, because the pump, you're not going to get a good pump with light 5-pound weights by doing like actual, like let's just take bicep curl. If I just sat there, it would take like 100 reps and you just don't have time for that. So what you want to try to do is, I was telling Lauren, like a couple full, right, for a bicep curl. Then what creates a pump is basically trapping blood and trapping metabolites in your muscle. So then you just want to do like the top range of motion would be like the half rep, because then you're literally pumping the blood and keeping it there. And then that will get them pumped.
Yeah.
So you want to think about that, but obviously you got to figure it out for yourself.
+1 for Ryan helping me pump up and explaining that.
Yes.
Too. Yeah. That was really helpful.
And yeah, think about the muscles, like whatever competitor you are, think about the muscles you need to look good. So for like Lauren, it was glutes, obviously, shoulders.
Glutes and shoulders for bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it would be different for figure, different divisions of like what muscles you want to pump up and focus on.
Yeah. Like guys, it's going to be like a lot more like chest, shoulders, bicep, back.
Yeah.
like
Guys don't need
triceps.
to pump up their glutes necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good tip. Yeah, definitely understanding when you need to start pumping up. And you can ask the expediter too. Learn the expediter's name.
That'll be helpful.
It's helpful. So you can call their name and be like, hey, where are we? Like, what class are we on? And a lot of the times, pretty much every time, they're going to post all the classes and the names of the classes there and have it on a wall somewhere. They had it on 2 walls for this show, which was helpful. So you can kind of see where they're at, like who's on stage right now. And you can ask the expediter, like, hey, who's on stage right now? What class is? And then go look at the sheet and find that class.
Find out,
So that's helpful. And take a picture of it too. Like take a picture of what class that you're in, if you're in multiple classes, and then an overall picture of how many classes are before you. So if you are texting somebody that's down in the audience or, you know, backstage or whatever, then you're like, hey, what class are you in? Like, what class are they on? Then your person can text back and be like, oh, hey, they're on this class. And then you can go to your photos, look, and be like, oh, okay, cool. They're on this class. Yeah, I have this much time.
Because, yeah, with a lot of these things like getting glossed, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Glossed and pumped, you don't want to do it too early. Because you'll lose your
pump. A lot
of
people, I feel like, do it too early.
Yeah, and your gloss gets less glossy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
the timing is key for sure.
Mm-hmm. And the gloss can go on, like do your pump up and then go get your gloss. I guess you can do it the other way too. Either way, but you don't want to do it too early. That's the main thing. I was kind of liking pumping up a little bit early because it was just keeping me warm.
Yeah.
So that was helpful.
Yeah, that'd be another tip for getting pumped up is everyone knows that when you're cold, your veins will like recess into your body basically because your blood is shunting towards the core of your body to keep you warm. So obviously when you're warm in general, you have more blood flowing to your extremities, meaning your shoulders, your arms, your legs. So if you can somehow also get warm while pumping up, boom. Yeah, that's good. That's a good little combination.
You could like bring a blow dryer and blow dry me while I'm getting pumped up, you know?
Show day daddy.
Show day daddy. Yeah, so bringing pump up stuff, little mini weights. Bring your food with you too, like before you go on stage. Bring like rice cakes, honey, different pump up stuff that will, you know, just carbs. Bring carbs backstage with you. I
think this is a good time too, because Lauren will agree, is that I think it's interesting. So for most people who go on prep, you eat a very specific diet. Yes. And it's very healthy, generally speaking. You're not eating like crazy candy, crazy sugar, anything like this most of the time, especially leading up to the bodybuilding show. But it's interesting is on the show day, because you're trying to chase this pump without what they call spilling over, which is basically like inflating and getting too much water out, right? And not looking good anymore. It's interesting how many people will eat like literal candy, like, you know, Skittles or like gummy, right?
There's
for your first show.
Lots of chocolate, candy,
gummy bears,
all the things in the back.
If you know you tolerate it well, cool deal. That's up to you.
This is not me. I can't tolerate. I feel like I messed up so much in the sense that like my load, I started eating things that I normally don't eat the week before to like carb up and do my load, and that's one thing I would just like not do again. I like keep the same foods, don't
just eat more of it. I mean,
just eat more of what you're eating basically.
And I mean, if there's someone out there that has a compelling reason, because at least to me, if you have a compelling reason why somebody like Lauren yesterday, if you're her coach and you're like, I'm not obviously calling out your coach, but like obviously we saw this, like, hey, you should eat these gummy bears. Okay, give me one reason why you would have your athlete eat gummy bears versus just a spoonful of sugar. Because what's the difference? The main difference to me is the gummy bear is going to have artificial this, that, and the other.
And that artificial stuff can make you blow.
Like, you don't know what it does to you.
Yeah, and especially when you're that lean too. I mean, I guess I'm so biased because like my stomach is so sensitive. And that was another thing is like it wasn't fun in the morning because like I did not feel good.
Like, you don't want to risk that because let's be honest, when you're on such a specific diet, and if you guys are out there and you're healthy and you've done this before, you're like, don't eat Taco Bell for like 5 years. And then there's that time you're driving through like New Mexico or something. You're like, dude. And then you eat Taco Bell. You better be ready for a rest stop because it goes through your system because you're not ready for it. And I think it's similar. Like that can
if
happen.
I ate Taco Bell,
Well, yeah,
like,
of course.
God, that would destroy me.
The same kind of thing is you're not eating gummy bears for 16 weeks. Even that is 4 months. And then on show day, when you're trying to be the best.
Now's the time.
And if you're like in the backup area pumping up and you're like, oh no, where's the bathroom?
I never eat real peanut butter. And then I ate peanut butter, I think, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I felt awful. Like, I don't know why I did that. And another thing, I ate so much food on Friday. I had to go to the bathroom, like for prejudging. I was like, I need to go. I need to go. And I was like, this sucks so much. It's just like uncomfortable. And obviously, you don't want to go number 2 when you have your tan and suit on. It sucked. So I feel like if I could do it again, I feel like it's stuff that needs to be talked about, even though it's not the best. Like, if you are like really loading up on carbs on Friday, that food will be in your stomach on Saturday.
It doesn't just
disappear. Going through, depending on what you're eating. Like, so if I could do it again, like I would definitely, I feel like Thursday is the best time to add carbs in. And then Friday, especially for me, I hate going to bed with food in my stomach. Like pull things back on Friday and then like, assess on Saturday. And then be like, okay, what can I digest quickly? What's light? What's calorically dense? And eat that Saturday morning. I mean, this is all subjective and it's by person, but just this is how I will go about it.
Yeah, I think a better way
moving forward.
I think a better way to explain it is yes, subjective, but also anecdotal. Because these kind of things with bodybuilding as a sport or any other sport in general, but specifically like weightlifting and just like running, any of these things, you can listen to the science, but everybody is different and you need to find what works uniquely for you. And so like for Lauren, yeah, she's saying it's subjective, but it's also objective for her. So yeah, like you can't maybe apply it exactly to you, but the point is it's empowering to know what works. Yeah. And that is part of this is you can't, there's just too many people out there who will tell you what works for them and then make it like gospel to you. Like this works for me, it will work for you, which I'm probably guilty of because some things I feel like are that kind of truthism. Yeah, you have
like your staples.
But there's a lot of things that, and you can't get mad at someone for like, I don't know. You just really want to be able to pick things and like try them. And if it doesn't work for you, don't think there's something wrong. Just try to adapt and make it work for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what Lauren's learning right now. It's hard, but it's pointless to like beat your head against the wall and keep trying something if it's not working for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I feel like me doing these shows, like it is definitely a learning experience. I mean, this was my second show. And I definitely, there's so many like little takeaways and helpful things that I learned. And I'm very appreciative of like, okay, next show, I'm definitely going to do this differently.
Yeah. And I think this is a hot take maybe from non-competitor side, but I think Lauren would also agree on this is, and I don't know, it's not fair probably to like talk crap like this, but it is ridiculous watching, okay, Lauren prep for more than 16 weeks, but technically she was only in prep for 16 weeks, putting all that work in. 6 to 7 days a week of cardio, 75 minutes in the morning with a workout with 30 to 45 minutes cardio after. Okay. For 4 months, she did all that. Posing not included, meeting with her coach not included, all this, right? That I'm talking to you about. And then she goes to the show and at whenever it was, 12:30 a.m., it's like, okay, I was sitting there with this guy from our gym. He came to sport, which is super cool. Shout out, Jerry. And
old man Jerry was there. Yeah, Jerry came to support me.
It was epic. And he's like, oh, when's she going to come on? Like, oh, she'll probably be on soon. And then, of course, okay, open class B, whatever, bikini. Lauren walks on to the end, and then she gets moved to the middle. It's all cool. It was, like, exciting for about 40 seconds. Then she walked off, and then we had to wait till 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, 6 hours later, I went back on.
And then she went back on for about 40 seconds.
Yeah, 45 seconds maybe.
And then it was over.
Yeah.
So hot take, but I think, and I understand, I'm not sitting here being like unrealistic that the logistics are a thing, how many people are at the show are a thing, the money is a thing. I understand all that, but I just think that we could do better. Like the shows for people that aren't competing and for people that are competing.
It is such a long day.
It's just kind of boring. Like you want to see, that's what was so cool about Lauren's first show is she was in so many different classes.
I competed in wellness and in bikini, and I did 3 classes in each of them.
Yes, because she was
and then I won overall in both of them. So then I competed overall in both of them. Yeah. And it was so much fun.
So it was kind of like, is that going to happen? No. But the problem is that after you do your true novice division, you can only do that once, your first show.
Yeah.
And then the novice division, you can only do that until you win overall in your class, right?
Yeah.
Until you win your class, I guess. So Lauren did both of those her first show, which is awesome. But then now she can only sign up for
Open. Yeah. Because I can't sign up for Masters because I'm not 35 and older. And then I can't sign up for True Novice anymore. Can't sign up for Novice anymore. So Open is my only option.
Like I get it.
So it's just so it's like prepping for 16 weeks to be on stage for 2 minutes. So I feel like this also goes back to like, enjoy your prep, like and enjoy the process of it.
It's hard to harness that moment.
Yes,
when it's that short.
Like document it, like have other people join in on it. Make it fun, and because you're only on stage for a couple minutes.
If that, it's pretty crazy.
That, right?
And like obviously too with this, and
my first show was like a special case of how many times I was literally on stage,
But like for most people, that'll probably be a special case because you're no matter what, you can only do True Novice once.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And this would be a good segue into results of the show. But obviously, this is going to be compounded if you do this for 4 months and you go up there and you suck. Like let's just be real. If you go up there and they're like 8th place goes to competitor 136. Like, are you going to do another show? Let's say this is your second show or even your first show. And it's like, you did go up on stage 3 times and it's like kind of fun. Your friends are there and you get completely destroyed and it's so expensive.
Yeah. So much time, money, effort.
There
was
hard.
One girl that, I don't know her name. I don't know who she is, but she walked by. She's like, I got 5th. And like 5th place, you're like, okay. I don't know. You could just tell.
You can see him hurt.
Yeah, you could tell. She was upset. Yeah. And like the other girl that she told it to, she didn't tell it to me. I just overheard this. She like didn't know what to say.
Yeah, what'd he say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it was
really cool, like seeing all the people that like all my fitness friends that I've made. I wish I was like during that show we had so much time, but I just feel like I didn't enjoy the show as much. I feel like I was like pretty stressed. Like I wish I interacted with like a lot more people that we knew and stuff like that. Like we said hi to everybody that we knew. But yeah. And I was like trying to be like really positive and nice backstage. I've never had any encounters with like sassy girls or mean
I think everyone's
girls.
chill.
Now I've heard of stories of like girls being real catty.
Okay, there's
whenever you put like 50 women, 100 women together,
they haven't been eating enough.
The calls come out,
and,
right. Like they're thirsty, they're tired, they're hungry, their back hurts, like they're in an uncomfortable suit, they're cold. Calls definitely come out, but I do think it's really important to stay super positive, like as positive as you can, and like bring good energy backstage because I notice it and appreciate it so much. Like when I'm kind of in a weird headspace or I'm nervous or something and somebody's just like bringing light your way and you're like, I just really like you.
Thank you.
And you probably like don't even, if you're that person, you're bringing positivity, I feel like you don't even know how many people you're like lighting up by doing that. Like, not everybody's going to tell you. Sometimes I do where I'll say it. I'll like, your energy is so good. I appreciate it so much, but not everybody's going to do that.
No.
Not everybody's going to do that. And that's okay. But just know that you are making a difference when you bring that energy.
Okay. So on the note of being really positive and just really really making people lighten their day up. Oh yeah. Let's get into the results, Lauren.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it from here for a bit.
So I got second place in open class B. It was the only class that I had signed up for. It was the girl that won first. I mean, she killed it. She has great posing, great body. I guess for me, like I got moved to the front so quickly and I was in the box, but I didn't realize this until looking back on the pictures that I was splitting center. I wasn't center. Yeah. So, you can't always go off that anyways.
Yeah, you can.
But I just had this notion in my head of like, I'm going to, like I won my class. I'm going to get first. Like, and so then hearing my name be called second really hurt.
It hurt me too.
Yeah.
It really did.
Especially when you're like expecting one thing to go one way, and it doesn't go your way. And I really tried to be a good sport about it. And like I had my little pity party and stuff like that. And I really did want to win my class because I think it would be a good indicator for going into nationals of how I would do. Because I really wanted to go to the overall. I wanted to compete in the overall in bikini, and I thought I was going to, and I didn't, and it hurt. So yeah, it hurt. But I'm okay with it. I mean, I feel like Ryan gave me a really good pep talk.
Yeah, she's trying to give up. She's like, oh, no, I'm going to go to nationals and get my ass handed to me. I was like, you can't do that because there's just too many factors at play with anything. Any sport, right? Doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're playing. There's always going to be circumstances that aren't in your control. And you can get down on those, or you can accept that and then look back and only evaluate like what you could have done differently. So that's kind of what I told her. And I was like, hey, that's still 4 weeks away. Yeah. This show was never the goal. This show was a warm-up show, literally.
Yeah.
She wants to do good, and I get it. So I think there's like two ways you could look at it. We could have won overall, or even if she made it to overall and got like second overall, that's still a good feeling. And then that would have been cool confidence going into nationals. All right, that's cool.
I wanted that confidence going into nationals.
She wanted the confidence. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. That didn't happen. So now you can either take this and be like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm going to get destroyed. Like, what am I doing? Which is natural thoughts for any sort of athlete. Or you can take this and be like, all right, now I'm going to use this as even more motivation and make it even cooler story.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, okay, can I bring a better package than I did last time? Like the whole me against me thing is
all you can do.
Important. Yeah, because like there's always going to be comparison everywhere.
Well, and literally, yeah. Well, also bodybuilding is a sport of comparison.
It is, yes. It is a sport of comparison. It is a physique sport, and like everybody loses, too. Nobody has, that I know have started bodybuilding and then like won their class and then won overall and then right away went pro and then won their pro show and then went to the Olympia and then won the Olympia. Like nobody has done that. So I feel like it's just like so important to know how to lose, and I'm learning how to do that,
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be fun too? Like I don't. Yes, winning feels good, but like I don't like tell the thing about Matt Frazier.
Yeah. Okay. So if anyone knows, I'll just explain. I guess let's just not assume anyone knows who Matt Frazier is. CrossFit athlete. Okay. Solo competitor.
Beast of a man.
Yeah. Matthew Frazier. His first year competing in the games, which is the top, I believe it's like 50 or 100 men and women go to
CrossFit Games.
Right, CrossFit Games. Okay, so they call it the fittest on earth. And the first year he went out there, I don't know if it's first year. Regardless of what happened, the first time he was actually close to winning, he ended up not winning, and he got second place. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then he went on, and now he is coined, the GOAT, right? Greatest of all time, because he won 5 times in a row. And not even, because this is when I paid a ton of attention to it. No one was ever close. Like there would be like little stints.
This is like Tia Toomey, like the equivalent of Matt Frazier.
He would go into the final day of competition and they'd be like trying to figure out like, okay, well, if this guy wins out 5 all events and Matthew Frazier doesn't finish, maybe he can win. No, like he was in such a huge point lead. Okay, so he won 5 times in a row. And then when they interview him, because he has a sick home gym, of course, they're like, all right, like, and they like see something on the wall, right? I saw this interview and it was a medal. And they're like, why do you have your second place medal? And you've won 5 times first place medals. And he's like, because when I look at that medal, I know that was the one that would give me to work harder. He didn't want to see the ones where he won. He's like, oh, I keep that on the wall. And he's like, I kept that thing on the wall and it fucking made me so mad every time I looked at it.
Yeah,
so it
maybe
gives you that fire.
That's true. And I feel like that's definitely my personality too.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, look at me, I want, you know.
I don't know,
it's like I'll hang up that second place and I'm gonna come back better.
Yeah. I think humans in general, we're just really good at being complacent, and not that you would have if you won, but it would have been easier to celebrate more last night, right?
Yeah.
It would be easier to be like, oh, like I'll be good for a couple days. I'll get back to it, but I won, so I'm like good.
Yeah.
When
there's
humans,
like this false sense of confidence.
When humans have chips on their shoulder and people freaking doubt them and they don't think you're capable of something, I don't know. There's some really crazy stories about that.
Yeah,
Tom Brady would be another person who, like, in the sport is a GOAT, and he was drafted so far down the draft class. There was doubters, there was haters, and really the only reason he even came in, it wasn't even like, oh, we'll give you a chance, Tom. No, the quarterback that was actually on the field got hurt. He didn't even get like a legitimate, like, we'll give you a shot. He came in and he knew, I have to prove everybody wrong. And he did, and he's the greatest quarterback of all time. So there's just so many stories, the comeback stories, which that's what I was telling Lauren is so fitting, is that she literally broke her collarbone and needed actual surgery and plates, all the things right as this started.
Yeah.
So you can just, the process, we started off with something rough. Why would it not be continually rough?
And I feel like it's cool. It just like adds to your story. Like bodybuilding is a journey. This is just like one part of the journey. It's a part of the story.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to nationals and we have everything booked and ready to go. And we're just going to try and bring our best.
And I think Lauren said it really well last night, is that this is specific. Hers is to bodybuilding, but I think it's specific for anything in life, is that you might make it somewhere and it's something you've been dreaming of. It's something that you've been chasing for a really long time, maybe longer than 4 months for her. Mm-hmm. You might make it there, even if you perform how you thought and you win. That moment is so quick that it's really, and it's so cliche, but when worded correctly, the truth is never a cliche, okay? Remember that. But literally the journey is way more important, because across the journey, Lauren learned stuff about herself. We learned stuff about our relationship. And like, there's so many more things that you actually get from doing it that you really need to enjoy that part that sucks more. It's not the fun part generally. Mm-hmm. Competing and going to the show and getting all tan and looking cool is fun, but it's so short. And then if it doesn't happen how you want it to and the outcome is not how you want it, it kind of puts like a dent on the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you like really appreciated the journey and then you still care about the outcome, but it's not the be all end all, I think that's like a better way of thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I also just think it goes back to I don't know who it is, but there's some guy who like advocates for, and you've told me about this, like getting rejected. Get rejected.
Yes. Yeah.
This is a form of rejection. There's a lot of things that are forms of rejection, and
rejection
usually
therapy. Have people say no to you.
Yeah, because exactly. Getting things that you want all the time, it's just gonna breed complacency. You won't be hungry. Why would you want to do anything?
I woke up. Alex Hormozy?
Yeah.
I woke up this morning sad, right? Alone, because Ryan was sleeping in, which is fine. I always wake up before Ryan. And I like my alone time in the morning. But I woke up and I opened Instagram and I knew there was going to be so many things I didn't want to see, because I had disappointment from the show, right? And so to open Instagram and see all these like competitors with all their medals and all the things, I was like, okay, I'm going to open Instagram and not be happy. So I did it anyways. I opened Instagram. I was like, this is going to hurt, but that's fine. And the first video that pops up, it's nothing about the show. the first video that pops up is Alex Hermosi, and it's like the best people in sales are hot women that are totally fine with rejection. And I was like, yes,
I'm trying to think about.
He was like, because you guys can say stuff that we can't say. And it's
True.
not, he didn't even go into like, you guys can flirt, you guys can do this, but it's just like, that you like there's an angle that we have that just like nobody else has. And it's just funny because I'm in sales, right? I sell thermal validation equipment, but does not really relate to bodybuilding. But I just thought it was funny that was the first thing that I had opened. And like, you know, if you're in bodybuilding, your physique is nice.
Yeah.
Right? So I just feel like if you're in bodybuilding and you're a pretty girl and like you're used to being a pretty girl, you're used to getting what you want, blah, 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 and you get rejected, like that's good.
Yeah, it's humbling.
You know, it's good. Everybody needs to get rejected, especially pretty women. Get humbled.
Okay, ask me for something right now.
Okay, Ryan. I guess?
No.
Okay.
Nope. See, there it is. It's good. Yeah, I think we won't go into it, but I do really think that sometimes, even though it's easy to give up after being rejected or like working for something for a really long time.
Yeah.
It's so important not to, because literally the difference of drive you might have of, let's say, working for something really, really long and then it just works out the first time, which is nice. But then you're kind of like, oh, I earned this. Like, this is cool. Like, I got it. Whereas rejected, and then you're like, oh, I really, like, it's just like anything. You want what you can't have.
Yeah.
And you didn't get this, you wanted it, and now you want it more.
Yeah.
That's just the
true.
equation.
That's just the equation.
So I think try for things that you don't think you can get.
Oh, and I also
and
said
you'll
this,
get rejected.
Yeah, to Ryan, like,
keep trying.
Would this morning when I was still a sad girl, or maybe it was last night when I was still a sad girl, I asked Ryan, I was like, ignorance is sometimes bliss when you're starting something, because if somebody told me like, oh, you're going to break your collarbone and then you're going to prep hard for 16 weeks just to get second place.
And go on stage for 1 minute. Yeah.
And go on stage for 1 minute. Would you do it? And like, you just said it like that. No. I mean, of course there's like different little nuances and details and stuff like that. But I feel like the ignorance of starting something and not fully understanding what it entails is kind of beautiful.
Well, and I came back to her when she said that, because that is a perfect example. If somebody told you that, you would say no.
You'd be like, that sounds awful.
Yeah, what the hell?
No.
Yeah. So when she told me that, I said, but what if during that time I told you that you'd learn this, you'd learn that, you'd be better at this, you'd meet these people, you'd have these connections, and you did all these things, and then you'd still wouldn't do good in the end, but you have all these things that you would not have had otherwise if you knew the outcome at the end. So that's the journey part. It's like, you don't have to necessarily, because that is really cliche, like, oh, enjoy the journey. Yeah, that's cool, but it's not even like enjoying the journey. It's like also making the journey like fruitful, right? Like for you, you've met so many people because of this. Like, people are following your story because of this. It doesn't matter that you didn't do good. They weren't following you because you did good. They're following you because the journey is cool.
I know. And I feel like that's one thing that I was telling Ryan, I was like, I feel like I let you down. I feel like I let, my coach down. I feel like I let the people that have been like rooting for me down. I feel like, because I post a lot of my prep stuff online, and I just like, for how much like love and support that I got, I feel like I let those people down too. But yeah, you're right. They weren't like following me because they're like, oh, she's gonna win. That's the only reason why I'm commenting or following or supporting. It's like, no, they're enjoying like watching my journey, and like I'm enjoying posting about it, and like and yeah, so I feel like understanding that, like, okay, I didn't thoughts aren't thinking.
Thoughts are not thinking.
I didn't officially let any of these people down.
No.
So
no, I doubt anyone feels that way. I don't feel that way. So that's our episode. Hopefully you got some inspiration in the end. Get out there, get rejected. Try things that you wouldn't normally try, because life is hard, but it can be really fun when you try hard things. You got to choose your hard.
That's true.
I think that should be the motto of our podcast because I really like that. With anything, doesn't matter, relationships, life, your job, anything that you do, you got to choose hard because there's going to be hard of not doing it versus like fitness is the easy example. You choose not to do fitness. One day your life's going to suck and it's going to be really hard and you're not going to be able to get up from this bench I'm sitting on. You're going to go to the doctor. They're going to do something called the tug, which is timed up and go. And they're like, okay, old man. They literally press, they press a freaking timer and then you're like, oh, okay. And then if it takes you freaking like 10 seconds to get up, you just have a lot more problems with everything. Literally active as day living. They're like,
it's just funny that it's abbreviated that way.
Tug. Yeah.
Tug test.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they're going to give you a bunch of support and like you need this, right? Or you can, so that's going to be hard. Or you can right now choose hard, which is, it's hard to go to the gym. Yeah. It's hard to eat healthy. Yeah. It's hard to fall asleep every time at the same time every night in the week, like during the weekends. Right, and your friends are out partying or whatever it is, but you gotta choose it. Choose your hard.
Ryan, before we end this episode,
yes,
I have a question for you.
You want to confess something to me?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in my bodybuilding journey, Ryan has been very, very, very supportive. He has seen everything from start to finish. So
far, yes. I've been here.
Yes, he has seen everything. He knows me very well. He knows how I train. He sees how I train. He trains a lot of people. And the way that he trains, I feel like is different from a lot and most trainers because you are such like a science-based trainer and everything is like backed by research.
Generally, yes.
Generally, yeah. And I feel like whatever you recommend or whatever you say, there's always a reason why behind it. Sometimes there's too much of a reason why. And I'm like, okay, we can shorten it. Just tell me why.
I like explaining because it's
Ryan
important
does
to be
love
empowered.
Explaining. Yes.
You need to know
knowledge
why.
is power. And I feel like you do that beautifully. And, I'm very proud of your YouTube channel.
Thanks.
And
okay.
how far that it has come.
The question,
hey, the question, I'm leading up, baby. Okay. We're about to get to that cliff.
Oh, clip it. All right.
But I obviously really, really care about bodybuilding and I care about how I place and I care about this journey.
So do I.
And the only other person the second person that cares more than me is Ryan.
That's me.
That is Ryan.
Co-host?
Yes.
Ryan. Yes. Okay. There is a question.
And there is a question coming, I swear. There is a question coming.
I'm on the edge of my bench because my butt's numb. And
I know that I am not the easiest client. I will be the first to admit that.
I've watched that, yeah.
I have lied to my coaches.
Whoa.
I am outing myself here. Yeah. I have
Stressful.
just straight up just not done what they recommend. And for sometimes good reason. Like I definitely feel like as an athlete, you need to advocate for yourself. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that because I view a coach, like you are not the end all be all. I am. Like I view you as a tool. You are a tool in my toolbox. And sometimes like the coach is like, no, you are my athlete. Right. And so I feel like there is like sometimes this like push and pull, but at the end of the day, your coach should not care more than you.
And that's why
you should care the most.
And
like all of the coaches that I've had, yes, I've had a lot. Some might call me Coach Hopper.
Okay. I mean, I swear there's a question in here.
There is a question. Ryan, I love you very much.
That's not a question.
Will you be my coach?
That's what you're asking me right now? Oh my gosh.
I have thought about this all night long. All night long. Morning as well.
Really?
My 75 minutes of cardio, I was literally thinking about this. Because this is like our journey. Like you do everything with me. You see my physique every day. You see me in my posing suit. You see my routine. You see me at the gym. Like, you know what I do. You know what I eat. You know what my body responds to. I literally almost puked last night. Ryan had to almost see it. And
I'm not a joiner. It's fine.
Yeah.
There are people that are joiners. Like, people bleed, they start bleeding.
So it's like, why wouldn't I have you be my coach? You are the only person that will care nearly as much as I do, you know? And it's like, you see me getting coached by other people, and I feel like I watch you not always agree. You know?
Yeah, you're always
and
gonna
I
have
feel like that's
yeah,
right. Like, there's always going to be differences in coaches and stuff. And it's like, you support me so much with this journey. So I feel like kind of be coached by somebody else. Like, you're a coach yourself, you know? So to be coached by somebody else and be like, oh yeah, you're a coach, but I'm not going to be coached by you. You know, like, I feel like it's also a testament to our relationship of, like, I feel like our relationship can handle you being my coach. It will be hard, yes, and I am not the best client, but I will try for you, baby. What do you think?
Oh, it's my turn to answer, huh?
Yes.
Like, starting right now.
To go to nationals.
To go to nationals, you want me to come in 4 weeks.
I feel like you saw how I felt all week. You saw how I felt yesterday. Like, you're the person that knows best. And I know my body a lot too. So I feel like it's us working together.
As a team?
Yeah, as a team.
A team?
We are a good team, Ryan. We are a good team in our relationship, and I genuinely feel like we could be a good coaching duo. We will coach this little body and take it great places.
I reckon I'll do it.
Really?
Yeah. On air. It's now official, I guess.
It's great doing business with you. We'll talk logistics after the... No, we're not Donald Trump in it. Okay. That's the episode.
Wow.
You heard it here.
Apparently I have a new job. This is good. I better...
A new client.
Better make sure my resume's up to date. Now I got my W-2.
Yeah.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
I'm going to hire you.
There's probably some insurance that needs to be done. I think you're not supposed to dip your pen in company ink, but I'm dipping.
We're dipping.
I'm dipping and
we'll
ripping.
Do great things, baby.